Good morning, guys. Welcome to our skill sharpening session today. It is Thursday, the 16th of July, 2026, and we are joined with Clinton Barker, co-host, who's going to be talking to us about a specific app that Clinton has designed, or a website, I should say, Clinton, which basically takes people through the checking process of, is their property suitable for redevelopment, for subdivision, and whatnot. So without further ado, Clinton Barker, welcome, and thanks for sharing your knowledge today.
No worries. So it's not just about the app, it's actually about how people can build their own apps. So this is
Fantastic.
so if you've got a problem and you've identified a problem that you think AI can fix for you, have a go at building something. But you've got to be a little bit careful, because and I'll go through it, because if you just throw a vague command towards ChatGPT or Codex, they'll go off on some wild tangent and you'll start building something and it won't be quite right, and you'll be tweaking it and fixing bugs, and you'll just be burning through a load of tokens.
Okay.
I don't know if anyone's knows about the token system, where when you buy it, you pay for a ChatGPT or Codex or anything like that. You're allocated so many tokens per month for your subscription, and at the moment it's heavily subsidized. But once you get over that, hey, you start having to pay it, and you've probably got a credit card, and you might not realize all those dollars starting to come off your credit card. So there's a little bit of a trap there you've got to be wary of. Where AI sits in my business, I've got to say, I'm lazy. Yes, I'm not the best at grammar. I'm not the best speaker. I'm not as eloquent as Chris Jansen. So therefore, I'll write something out rough and I'll put it through ChatGPT and I'll put it through Claude, ask them to refine it, and I'll pick which one I like. And I might even put chats into Claude and Claude into chat to see if they can refine each other's. But again, here's a caveat. You need to train the AI first, because otherwise it won't know. It doesn't know the difference between me, Bjorn Kuznel, and Chris Jansen or Donald Trump. So therefore, you've got to spend some time and put some information into the ChatGPT and train it in your tone, your style, what you do. And I'll get through that in a bit later. So yes, I do emails, proposals, reports, scripts, client expectation, even research. You do research. So yes, we're all very, how would you say, we're all very knowledgeable about what to do with RP data and anything else, and doing comparisons. But you can get a ChatGPT or Claude to do a lot of the heavy lifting and go for that. It can't access RP data because it doesn't have the API. But you can download all of the reports and put it into Chat or Claude and get a summary and get what they think about it. So that's another thing you can do. Marketing, I will get there and I'll look at the market, and I'll get Chat or Claude to analyze the market. What are the main sellers out there? What are the main buyers? Who do we look to? What has the tax laws done to self-managed super funds? What could be the future? So therefore, I'll try and change my marketing towards that. I even do my legals for it. So it's good that I have what it is there's plugins. So if you go into Claude or you go into Chat, you look for customize your API, your site, and you can get plugins like legal or writing or creative or market research. Don't download everything, because then your model, your either chat or GPT will try and look through everything. And again, you'll burn for a load of tokens all the time. And then the main thing is, of course, app building, and we'll get onto that.
So what program do you use for putting in the code? I know you said you talked with ChatGPT and Claude, but you mentioned Codex. Is that correct?
Yeah. So Codex is the building arm of ChatGPT.
Okay.
Claude Code is the building arm of Claude.
Okay.
So what happens is Claude and ChatGPT are good for the prompts. And what happens is I did this. Now this one, I'll quickly go through. It's a disclaimer. And guess what? Yes, it's a way of, I have to click these for it to work. And yes, hidden behind that, it is a way of getting people's details. It is a lead generation. But mainly the big thing is this is a tool. You put everything in there, and I won't go through it because it'll take too long, but it goes through, and the first part, it'll give you the first rundown. Is it viable or not? And if it is, then it goes into the next tool. The next tool is where you put planning costs, build costs, everything else. And therefore, hey, you get a full summary, a full report, and it'll tell you whether it's feasible or not. Even you have to put in whether there's significant trees, blocked driveways, and it also works on South Australian zoning. Now,
So
I was very lucky.
if somebody had like a 3-bedroom house, but it was on 500 square meters, for example, and they put in their address and they put in their Salisbury Council, that is general neighbourhood zoning, for example, and they put in their land size 500 square meters and their frontage might be, say, 9 meters, for example, then would it come up and say, not feasible, can't go any further?
No, it would probably say, look, you need to look at these steps.
Okay. But then if somebody puts in something that's like, 1,000 square meters, Salisbury Council, 25-meter frontage, then it will take them to the next part, the next process where they start talking about trees and other bits and pieces of their property.
Yes, it'll still ask you the purchase price.
Okay.
So it's a little bit more in depth than that, but it's not as in depth as the second stage. And to go through, I think this would chew up a lot of our time. So if you go through it, it's very self-explanatory. And you can get a report. Do a dummy report. It's no cost. But so this is just a developer's tool. And as you know, there's so many people wanting to infill now. So this is a perfect tool for them.
I did run through it and I put a couple of examples in, and it is quite expansive and quite extensive. So I can understand, like, to go through an example would probably take, half an hour or so. But it's definitely a good tool, and it definitely comes back and lets you know whether or not your property can be subdivided, whether it fits in with the rules or not, whether it's a non-complying development or a complying development. And you've also got feasibility in there as well, which is great.
Yeah. So this one took me about 4 weeks to build. So you have to build the knowledge file, and luckily I already had the Excel spreadsheets on doing feasibilities on properties to be able to put there as a knowledge file. Then I downloaded all the South Australian planning zones and everything else as a knowledge file. So that's what it references to. And the thing is, I didn't have to know this. Claude taught me through it. All right, so you can do that. The next app. Oh, what have I done?
Rory was just asking, can we just go through part of the process just to sort of get a bit of a feel for it? Not the whole lot, but just maybe put in, a address just for a bit of an example.
All right. So 1 Lorna Street. Lorna Street, Salisbury. Council. is Salisbury. Zoning is a general neighbourhood. Land size 700 square metres. Frontage 19 metres. It's flat. Now you can put if it's slight slope, moderate slope, or steep slope. We'll say it's flat. We'll continue. No easements. None we don't know. There's no significant trees. And we've gone through SA maps and there's no overlays.
Okay.
So it's not in a flood zone or anything. But if it was in an overlay, you'd put it in there. Tick or flick, proposed dwellings. We're going to say, all right, we'll just do as a 1 into 2. We're going to buy it for 500,000. We're going to sell each for 850,000. And we want there we go. I'll put my details in, Clinton. Be all right if I could spell, wouldn't it? I'm a one-finger typer. I did typing in school, but I was one of those cool kids, and I spent all my time talking to the girls instead and got them to do all my...
You've got performance anxiety, Clinton.
Yeah, I got them to do all my work for me, and now I'm paying for it. So, all right. Then it gives you a site assessment, and it says it's marginal. All right. Needs to investigate for the numbers need work. All right, let's go to a full feasibility. We're going to do a 2 single-story townhouses. Yes, identical. We're not going to keep them. We're going to sell them, and we say that they'll sell at 850,000, and the other one's going to sell for 850,000, and then you keep going. The offer was 550,000 stamp duty, so we're going to pay 500,000. Stamp duty, say 6%. We want at least a 10% profit. Oh, actually, that's a bit low, 15. All right, price per square meter. All right, it's around about 2,100 a square meter. Oh no, the floor area. Sorry, the floor area is, I should read it, 160 square meters at 2,100 a square meter. That gives us a build cost of 672,000. Demolition, maybe 15,000. Civils, 25,000. Services and connections, 5,000. Now, anything over 12 meters from main sewer is going to cost you. But we say, no, this is only 5 meters. And we don't need to upgrade. So if you needed to, if you're doing 4 or so buildings on a block, you might have to get not a generator, you need to get electrical, what are they called? It's on the tip of my tongue.
Talking about upgrading the cable into the meter box?
Yeah, upgrade the meter box. We don't need to, so it's going to standard one. Contingency, we're going to add 10% contingency to go over. Now, the design authority. So we're going to get an architect to build it. Design, it's 5,000. Surveyors, 2,000. Engineering's 2,000. We're not going to assign it to a project manager. We're going to do it ourselves. Legals, 4,000. Other professional fees, no, we don't need any. Council, we're going to apply to a council. Let's allow 2,000 for application fees. Landscaping, 4,000. Now, when you're doing this, you'll get your council rates actually go up. So we'll say we'll allow for over the build time, we'll allow for 1,500 in council, public liability insurance, 2,000. We're not going to do tight security, selling agent fees. Oh, bloody agents! You never know. Then we'll do 2%, and we'll do it on the percentage of the sale. Marketing is about 6,000. Now, this is where I ask you. Now, this is where you need to talk to your accountant whether you're going to do it as a marginal scheme, full GST absorbed into the price, or you're not sure. Let's do not sure. We'll check with your accountant. Right. So this is your buying. How much are you going to put into it? Out of the 500,000, we're going to put 70% LBR. Interest rates, 8%, because we're going to do, a third tier borrowing. It's going to take us 18 months to build. And we'll do most.
1,800, is that 1,800 months? Is that right? Or is that, should be 18?
Sorry, yeah. 18 months, sorry.
Now, the numbers might not match.
So it says, well, I haven't filled out one field. Go back.
GST, I think.
0. Conveyancer and settling. All right. We're going to put 4,000 for conveyancing. Still require an API assistant. Where's
Is that because we haven't put the GST in there, Clinton, with whether or not how we're doing GST, we're doing the margin scheme,
it's the assignment assigned there.
Okay. So you've just got to have a dollar value in there.
GST not confirmed. Still required other fees. Other fees. Oh, sorry. Other fees, 0. So as you see, it won't let you move on until you filled everything in. Enter your details, view my report.
This is very impressive, Clinton.
But because I had a background in it, luckily I had the knowledge files to put in. Not to say that you can't get those knowledge files now. They're all readily available. Everyone's making them out now. So,
and you do need to get your numbers right. For example, if you've got a house that's a solid brick house, it's going to be cheaper to demolish than a brick veneer house, and it's going to be a lot cheaper to demolish than a house that has asbestos. So It's not just to clear $15,000, to clear a house. If you've got asbestos, that could jump to 18 grand, 25 grand. You don't know. So you got to make sure you do know some of your numbers.
All right. Look, see, I was too quick on it, and I put 4,000% as a GVR for the conveyancer, with 68 million. So it's told me I've made a mistake, and I need to go back, and I need to redo it. And it's probably one thing I can't go back from here. So now I'll have to start over. But you can see that if I do make a mistake, it goes, so just run through it.
Cool.
And it tells you your key risks, what to test next. And then
you get the idea, guys. And you're making this available for the EXP team, is that correct?
I built this, and it returns stuff to me. That's the problem.
Okay.
And you can get an idea and use it yourself, and get an idea. Say you had a client that was wondering about a site. Do it, use it, get the summary sent to yourself, put it into Claude or ChatGPT, and get it to rewrite it as you did it.
Awesome.
So now you can say, hey, I've done a full feasibility on your development. And these are the problems I come up with. These are the things you need to look at.
Beautiful.
All right. Now, if I go to here. On to, so this is purely a lead generation app, but I've done it in a different way. If you go on to say Rate My Agent or any of those things, you got to put your details in first. And that's probably going to upset a lot of people. And then they get bombarded by agents. So this one, if I go, no, it's elsewhere, it says, I can't help you. I prefer not to say, hey, can't help you. But if I go, yeah, South Australia, yes. I'm wanting to downsize. Do I renovate before selling? I haven't found anywhere. You can also add more than one question. Something else. Structural movement, concern, water damage. All right, so it's asking whether there's something wrong with the house. It gets here, are you unsure about choosing a real estate agent? You know, you can tick those. If you make a mistake, just go back. I have too much. So you get the idea. This is very simple. You can put a note there. And then it goes, you can check your answers, make sure. Now you can go back from here. Once you go to here, you can't go back. Then it just gives you a rundown. Water damage, it gives you answers. Now, this is where the lead generation comes in. If you want a full email summary, if you'd like me to call you. So it's a very soft close rather than a hard close. Again, what is our biggest concern at the moment with other agents is people like Ray White feeding bullshit, overextending prices and stuff like that. So again, you've got a few little questions there of what people should be asking real estate agents. And then, so any of those, it will email me if I put that in, it'll ask me for that and it'll send the report to me. So I'll get a request. I know that I got their name, suburb, property address, and phone number, and I can then follow up from that.
So these are all apps, or not apps, but sites, websites that you've created, you've built for specific purposes for you to be able to use in your business, to be able to generate leads, to be able to do feasibility studies with clients. Now, it's very impressive, Clinton. But
the thing is, you can go on to say Lovable and places like that, and I'd put one on Lovable. But watch it, if you do too much and you do a Hubbable hosting, careful, it's $38 a month. So I'll go on further as to how these work. I've done like 5 apps, but it's not a website. It's an app because it's interactive. Okay. It's an application where you can do a landing page, and it does very minor things. So this is really, it really interacts you, and it gives people, it's a workflow. Now you can create this. This one I created in Codex, the other one I created in Claude. But in the end, Codex, and this is where I get technical, Codex asked me to build it with Claude in the desktop. Therefore, I had to open up Microsoft PowerShell and open up Claude in Microsoft PowerShell so it could talk to So they had to talk to the repositories. Repositories is something like GitHub. Now, these two apps are on GitHub. Anyone can look at them, but they're private. You can't download the sources and you can't copy the code. But if you go to GitHub, there's a lot of people who put stuff out there that you can download for free. You can grab it and it'll work with your AI. So it'll tell your AI what you want. So anyhow, so these ChatGPT and Claude, they're the managers. They're the designers where I put the prompts in. And they design the prompts to put into Codex or Claude code. So Claude coding and Codex are the technicians. So if I go back, if I get out of here, this is Claude Code and this is Codex.
Okay.
Now, to make sure that you don't burn through a load of wasted money and spend a load of wasted time, and hey, I had to learn the hard way. What you build first is very important. In here, you got projects. So I've opened that. And you can see Second Brain. Hey, guess what? Bjorn, look at it. There's your 4 W's and H in marketing. Hey, yes, I used it. And there's Claude. In Codex, you got the Second Brain. Create a planting doc. What it doesn't show here is there's another. These are on your computer. They're not cloud-based. Because if you use the cloud-based versions, you don't have enough data to store all this. And therefore, you're going to use tokens to try and find it all the time. Because that's what they'll do. They'll run through it all the time. So what this is on my computer. I've got files on my computer, and these are in the files. And therefore, Codex or Claude Code go back to that file and they grab that. So when I go to build something, I'm going to do something, I say, use a Second Brain. Use superpowers. And you think, oh, what's that bullshit about superpowers and Second Brain? Second Brain, let me go, and you'll see why I install superpowers. Superpowers is so that when you're doing something, Claude doesn't run off, or ChatGPT doesn't run off on a hallucination. So it knows exactly what you want to do. So it's like if I said to you, Bjorn, you employed someone, and they came into the office, they didn't know what they were doing, they'd got no real estate experience, and you said, all right, go off and do this. They could run off and do something what they think is right, but is completely wrong. So that's why
the second thing's like the supervisor, sort of, to a certain degree. It keeps an eye on things.
Yeah, it's your procedure manual. So every time it's a procedure manual for them to look at and say, all right, before I do anything, we're first going to develop the plan. Then we're going to test the plan. Then we're going to do small implementations, and we're going to test those we'll test that. Rather than trying to build a huge thing and then suddenly find you've got so many bugs that it's going to cost you hundreds of dollars in tokens to try and fix. All right. So this is how I don't know if you can't really see. I'll put that here. This is a build cycle. And I put this in there. You got the problem. You do your discovery, which you can do in Claude and that, and you bounce each other off. So you think, all right, I want to build an app for developers. They don't know what they're doing. So there's a problem. Discovery. How many developers are out there and would use this? Is it worth me building? All right, it is. Let's do the plan. Let's do the design. Let's make it so I know. So what's in chat or Claude is what's in my head. Then we approve it, and we want to do small approvals. Then we start building. And then we test it. This should all be in the thing, and then we review it. Now, the testing is what takes the biggest part. This will take a lot of time because it'll find them. Now, this is just a very quick rundown because it's where you host it. So if I can get rid of this. So the basics is you can build these things. It's a testing. Then you've got to host it. So GitHub, you can do a hobby, and because I've only got 2 on there, I'm using Vercel as a hosting platform. And as a hobby, it doesn't cost me anything. But if I want to, once I start getting more people on there, I'll have to start either upgrade the plan or put it somewhere else. Now, now you might also have your own websites. I don't know how many people on here got their own private websites. And so what I've done is, so I don't have to pay for hosting fees, I've put these as subdomains of my website. So that's why you see devcheck/clintonbarkerproperty.com.au. That's why you see my next move /clintonbarkerproperty.com.au. I don't have to pay for the hosting, and I can just push it out from there to the people I want. Hopefully that makes sense. Has anyone got any questions?
No, it makes sense. It's obviously a guide for where to get started on this stuff. Obviously, AI is integrated everywhere now, and it's something that we all have to be a part of, whether or not we like it or we don't like it or whatever. But it's just sort of getting started. And I guess you've got to just spend some time playing around with these certain things. And the beauty of our team is that we all share. If there's somebody that doesn't know how to do something, like the other day, I had a question because I noticed Rahil did a really good ad where it showed on Facebook, and it showed some old property crumbling down and then new properties coming up. And I said, how on earth did you do that? That looks really impressive. And on the phone, over 20 minutes, he showed me or talked me through, go to this app, go to this place, go to this place, go into Claude, say that you want to do this, this, and this, and then go into this other AI thing. But the thing is, they're all subscriptions. There's subscriptions involved with a lot of these things. So you got to be careful because you can get lost down a rabbit hole with this stuff. But if you work together with the team and we all sort of exchange our knowledge, it makes it a lot easier for us to find the solution on what we're trying to achieve a lot quicker than trying to spend, you can spend hundreds of hours or thousands of hours getting lost in all this AI stuff and still not find out where you're going. But Clinton's spent all the time to develop these sorts of things. And Clinton's like, hey, I'm happy to share and show you how to do that. Rahil's done the other stuff. Rahil's saying, hey, let's share this stuff as well. So that's the beauty of our team here. It saves us all a lot of time because those that have done the time and put the effort in are happy to share with the others. So thanks a lot for sharing this, Clinton.
No worries. And the thing is, if you're not into app building or anything like that, you can use Cowork, Claude Cowork. I get in there and perhaps I'm trying to find an old email because it's on your desktop and you've given it, and it'll ask you permission. You can go on and let it get into Gmail and find the email you want. That presentation I put out, I'm lazy. It was written by AI.
Yeah. It's a lot easier than people think once you start playing around with ChatGPT and Claude. And like you said, just start prompting in what you want to do. You get your idea and you put it in there and you say, how do I do this? Where do I go to do this? What apps would I need to do this? And it will actually tell you. It'll actually guide you.
Yeah. So that Codex one, Codex actually got me to use Windows PowerShell and use Claude to do the install and do the coding and do everything on Vercel and then put the prompts onto where I host my Clinton Barker property is hosted on SiteGround. So I had to then it wrote everything I needed to put it onto that site.
Beautiful. Any questions for Clinton, guys, or anything else you want to add, Clinton?
I'd like to say thank you very much. I'm going to wait for the video to be downloaded. I'll use a transcript. I'll go back to my ChatGPT and ask questions about what you've produced, and that's absolutely brilliant. Because I've opened the mind for a few of us to do extra things. And the other thing I'm thinking of is that as EXP agents, the whole idea is to share with each other, as Clinton has done, but also if you got value out of someone's product, I think the idea, if you want to do something with Clinton, or even Marco, you either pay them, cash. If you list the property, reward them, or do a split, whether it's 50-50 or whatever. Work it out so actually you're doing more cooperative work that Bjorn's done with many people, rather than just trying to stick everything yourself. Because the reality is, if you get 100% of nothing, like everyone else, you're better off getting 50, 60, 70, 80, 90%, whatever, of something to make sure you actually list the property in the first place, as opposed to want to do it all yourself and risk not picking up that development site because you don't have the skills yourself, or you don't want to go through you don't understand how to work out the costings. Ask for some help and actually, pay to do so. Don't just say, thanks, mate, here's a beer, because you're going to make money out of it. And I think it's time to share that sort of stuff. And Bjorn's done that many times. So we've got a place to learn from. Thanks for that. Cheers.
All right. So if you see here, I've highlighted these are the plugins I've put in.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, you can put these plugins in. There you go. You've got your Canva to do your designs. Hey, you can even do a Gamma app if you want. If you want to do a database outside of Rex. So these are all the things you can put in.
Beautiful. But yeah, you're spot on, Eric. Somebody said to me once at a seminar a long time ago, be prepared to part with a portion of a profit that you never had in order to receive a portion of a profit that you would have never received. That's referral fees right there. So, for example, let's say I've got a client coming up and they've got 100 acres and it's subdividable. I've got no idea about 100-acre subdivisions. But I know people like Clinton, Marco, David Washington, for example, and just a few people off the top of my head that have had experience in that or do know. For example, someone says, hey, I want to sell my commercial property. I've got no idea about commercial property, but Clinton Barker sells commercial properties and businesses. So why would I try to figure it out myself? I would be smarter going, hey, Clinton, I've got this hairdresser that wants to sell their business. I know you've done this before. Do you want to work in this with me together, and we'll just work out some sort of arrangement, some sort of split, and then Clinton receives a profit for the energy and effort he puts in. I receive a profit because doing it by myself, it would have never come to fruition. And that's where collaboration is really strong. And this is where I think EXP has got it right. And this is where I think it's our biggest strength is that we're all knights of the round table. There's no King Arthur here, and it encourages that collaboration. And that knowledge base. So, like I say, if you're struggling at the moment, find another agent, perhaps to team up with, offer to work with other people. Right now, when we're not flat out, I do a lot of work with Haley. I've done a lot of work with Sid. I've done a lot of work with Mike. Eric and I have done work together. I've done work with Brigitte. I've done work with Buri, with Marco. It's help one another, because if we all help one another, we all succeed. We all achieve. We all feed. So keep that in mind. Now, Eric, do you reckon I should quickly get into showing that thing that I did, or should we save that for next week?
You got time, you reckon? Or you want to do it entirely up to you?
If anyone's got any other questions for Clinton first, Does anyone want to talk to Clinton or ask Clinton any questions about anything before we move on?
Can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
I just saw a post that came up, and it was about recruiting real estate agents. And yet, what was the number one? They're worried about EXP.
Yes. Yes. It said if you're tired of using real estate, if you don't have a system in place, then you deserve to lose agents to EXP and agents agency and da. So yeah, we are being very much taken for a serious player at the moment. And that's another thing, guys. If you want to attract people to your team, I mean, this is the sort of stuff you can say, hey, guys, we have training. We have Thursday training, and the agents are encouraged to step up regardless of whatever you've got to share with the team. We're all equal here. We all share. It's not a communist regime. We're not a socialist regime, but we do share. We're knights of the round table. If you're not getting the support where you are, then maybe come on over. We've got also national support. But this is really designed, these training sessions, for anybody who's in the A team that's got another agent out there that you want to sort of get through. You can say, well, hey, you're going to have training. You're going to have access to this exclusive training. If you just join EXP, you won't have access to this specific training to be a part of it. There's other trainings for that. But if you want to be part of our group, which is really collaborative, join under any of the A team members, and you have access to become part of this group. And I think this is where our team is very strong, is we're not just EXP, but we've got something that's within EXP that's really powerful and collaborative. But you're right, Clinton, those ads, mate, they're now people trying to recruit agents for other agencies because they're worried about us. I'll quickly share, I'll just quickly go through a real quick version of this. So let me just share my screen if I can. Just hold on a second. Thanks, Clinton, for all your time today.
No worries.
And talking about collaboration, I've now got my own website thanks to some assistance from Chris Jansen. So, this is pretty cool. So with the assistance of another EXP member, I've been able to put this through together, and it feeds through all of my properties on the APIs, all of my sold properties in there. And I chose sarealestate.com. So obviously my number plate is REALST8. REALST8.com was taken by another company. So I put SA for South Australian Real Estate.com, and this is what I've been able to build there. So this is once again being done with AI, with collaboration. It's got stamp duty calculators in there, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So this is stuff that we've got access to as well. But I wanted to show you, that wasn't what I wanted to show you. I wanted to show you, where are we? How do I get this little chat box away? Let's just shut that down. Okay. So I asked Rahil, I said, how on earth did you do that video that you did the other day, right? And Rahil showed me how to design this. Right now, it's not perfect, but it looks good. Rather than having a stagnant ad saying, development sites wanted, I've got builders that pay above retail, blah, 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 blah. I've got a video in there, and this has performed on my algorithms. If I go into my Facebook, I'll see if I can actually bring it up. It says that it's performed 493% better than any of my other posts.
Hello.
Let me see if I can find it.
Beautiful.
Let's have a look here. Let me see where it is. All right. So this is just my Facebook page. My internet's running a bit slow at the moment.
Just go on your professional dashboard.
Here we go. So that's only at 190 views, but if I go, how come it's not letting me go any further, Clinton? What's going on here? Post insights, here we are. Okay, look at this one. So this is a video. 2,465 views to 1,380 views, 1,028 views. That's only been up for a day. The videos get all the good views. So the reels, photos got that there, but the video is what people want. And it was saying on realestate.com that 48% of consumers want video. So this is where it doesn't really matter how good the video is, if it's just something average or if it's just, professional, whatever. But, Well, that's just another good morning, ladies and gentlemen, blah, 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 blah. But video content's good. But this is what Rahil helped me do. And I said, how do I do this for you? How does this work out? And he said, well, for starters, you go to ChatGPT and you ask for a prompt. So I went into a prompt and I wrote, let me see if I can bring it up. I just wrote, I want to create this. Let me just shut these down. So I went into this one here. So I don't have a ChatGPT thing. I've got something that is, what's mine called? And it's got a whole heap of them in together. I've got this chatbot AI, and it's got like, I can choose Claude or whoever else I want to use. So down the side, I've got OpenAI, Gemini 3, Grok, blah, 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 blah. So I just went into OpenAI, ChatGPT 5, and I said, I just wrote, I want a prompt that I can use to create an AI video of an agent helicoptering into a residential area and then landing in front of a property with a for sale sign ready to conduct an open inspection. I don't know how this is going to go. This is just an example, but this is what Rahil said. Put a prompt in there. And then here's a prompt, right? And then all I did is I just went in here and I just did this. And I played around with it a little bit and I just, copied it. And like I said, I only learnt this like 2 days ago, so this might work, it might not. And then I went in over here and I want to create video. I want to create something. Sorry. I've got to go down here and then I've got to paste in my prompt and then go generate. And it takes a little while to do it. And then sometimes you've got to go back in there and you've got to write new prompts in there, like tweak this, change this. Like I had to, on the other one I did, it put the first video that I did, it made it look like this. I think this was the first one. Let's have a look. Now, you can see there's 2 garages there. If you have a look at this, ready, watch. You can see what's wrong with it. This is from the first prompt. It built that, and it looks great, but what houses look like that with a garage with no front door, and then this one doesn't have a garage, right? So then I had to go back and say something else like, make sure that every property has a garage and a front door, and then it created this. And this was the second attempt. But then it stuffed it up again because you can see, if you go here, you can see these 2 don't have a garage, they've got front doors, and this one's an open carport, right? So I'm like, well, I can't put that out there because that just looks incompetent. So then I had to say, make sure there's a garage and a front door at the front of each home. Now, if you look really, 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 really closely, you can see there's 2 front doors. There's not a front door for the other one, but I thought, you know what? That's good enough because it cuts it out anyway. So I thought that's good enough for me to use. So you can see here it's generating. It takes a while to generate them. But that was just from Rahil saying, go chatbot AI, ChatGPT, and then this other app which I've got here, which I don't even know what's it called, AI generator, whatever the hell it is. But you know what I mean? Like there's so many things you can play around with. This thing I think is costing me $38 a month or whatever, and I get a certain amount of credits. So you can see I've got 72 credits left, and you get different credits each month. But you can sort of see you just put the prompts in, and then it does the rest of it. So let's just see what this thing comes up with. It might come up with something that looks completely ridiculous, and I might have to tweak it 20 times. But it's just another example of integrating this sort of stuff into business. And as much as I hate AI, like I'm the kind of guy that thinks that AI is the worst thing that's ever been invented for humanity, and I think it's going to be the death and destruction of all of civilization. That could possibly lead to the extinction of mankind when we create super intelligence, and super intelligence gets to a point where it believes that it is bigger and more powerful than us, unless they put safety frameworks in place. But all that aside, if I'm not doing this stuff, I'm not going to have a real estate career anymore. And at the moment, I just need to focus on feeding my family. So as much as I'm not a fan of artificial intelligence in general, this sort of stuff is okay. If it stayed here and stopped here, I think it's good. But where it could be heading with super intelligence is extremely scary. And I actually watched a podcast with one of the people that was head honcho at OpenAI, and he walked away from OpenAI and forfeited $2 million worth of stocks because he wanted to be able to talk about the company and not have a non-disclosure on, and he's very concerned about the safety measures. He thinks that there's a 70% chance that artificial intelligence, if it gets to a super intelligence, could lead to some very, very bad things unless they start regulating. Anyway, this thing's not doing anything at the moment. It's taking a long time, but you get the idea of what you can create with it. And like I said, this stuff's harmless. So that's just another little tool that you can utilize. And that was something that Rahil showed me. Now, Rahil said he's working on something else as well. So this took me, one, two, three attempts to get something there and chewed up a fair few credits. 70, what's that? Chewed up 24 credits to get there. But I think, if I was going to pay somebody to create something like that, I think it would cost me more than $38 to pay someone to generate that. And this is done at, $38 a month.
Yeah,
So like I said, it takes a little while to generate, but, there's stuff out there as well. So this could take another 5 or 10 minutes, guys. So I'm not going to sit here and just let it go. But you get the idea. You just prompt stuff in. Seedance 2.0 is what it was. So maybe what I should have done is I should have written in here create a code that works best for Seedance 2.0, which is actually I think what I had to do last time. Yes, create a prompt suitable and compatible with Seedance 2.0. So once again, you just got to play around with things. Okay, now it's come up with a more, okay, so maybe what the prompt that I put in isn't good enough. So now I'm going to copy this prompt. Now I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to change this. Well, let's see what it's done. It's done something, hasn't it? Let's have a look.
Yeah, and once you've done this, can you share that with the group in the chats? But also take a bit of time and go through the exact AI and the process you went through, so that people can actually then copy paste, follow your instructions. Because if you're going backwards and forwards on the screen, people aren't getting in touch. Actually, you're using this particular AI and using this particular prompt to put it into this thing and make it absolutely clear like a recipe. I think then people actually, borrow your ideas and actually produce exactly the same things in a short amount of time.
Yeah. So you need ChatGPT,
Yep.
right? Or yeah, just ChatGPT is what I've used here. So if you go to ChatGPT and type in what you want,
Yep.
and then the actual AI video creator is called Seedance 2.0. So just Google Seedance 2.0. And then you say, hey, I want to create a video of doing this and this and this compatible with Seedance 2.0. Can you please create a prompt? I want to look like I'm helicoptering in, blah, 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 whatever you want to do. And then once you've got that, you copy that from ChatGPT. You click back over to your Seedance 2.0 and you just enter in the prompt. And then you hit generate. And then this next one should come out better, because like I said, it did generate this, but you can see it's a little bit, how you going? It's still put the helicopter and there's still somebody in front of the house, but it's a little bit not quite right, as you can see. But it's done most of it. What's this one? This is the first one that I put in, the first prompt that I put in. Let's see what this did.
Well, considering that takes under 5 minutes, it's pretty impressive, isn't it, Bjorn?
Well, it is actually. This is actually better. It's left out the helicopter and all that sort of stuff, right? But this is actually better than the one I did the other day. That looks more like it. I might have to change to that one. And then all you do when you want to download it is you just push download, and then it's going to save it in your downloads on your computer, right? I'll go through everything. Right, so now it's downloading on my computer. So now what I can do is I can open up my Facebook and I can go, what's on your mind? And I can go, looking to build or develop new property. I can help. Ask me how. Right, this is just a real example. I'm just going to click on there. Then I'm going to go to my downloads. It's going to be in my download folder. It's going to be that one there. I'm going to upload it. And I'm just going to do that. And I'm just going to go next. And I'm just going to go next. So basic, like I'm not even putting anything fancy in there. That's it. And I'm just going to go post that. And I'm just going to add button. And I'm just going to post. And now that's going to go onto my page. Like I say, the stuff you put out there doesn't need to be, just do it. It doesn't need to be perfect. Like I'm still learning stuff and I'm still learning from other people. But there you go. That post should be showing up here shortly. And then that should be able to be in there. So that was ChatGPT. Write what you want. Tell it to be in a specific prompt format to be cooperative with Seedance 2.0. Still generating that other one. And then it will create something. So ChatGPT, Seedance 2.0, right? And if I want to create a video, edit a video, use images, you can do all sorts of stuff. I've barely just started playing around. It's always going to try to upsell you something. I've just gone with the basic package, but it's always going to try to upsell you. But this is just scraping the surface of the iceberg, the tip of the iceberg, and it's been able to make me look pretty decent on Facebook by putting those posts up. I mean, if somebody goes out, they go, how on earth? Because I looked at that when Raheel did it, and I thought, how the hell is Raheel being able to do that? That looks so professional. If I was a consumer and I saw that, and I thought, this guy, Bjorn Kunzel, can create that. How on earth do you do that? This guy must know what he's doing. But little does everybody know that it's like 5 minutes here, another 10 minutes here, and then the AI does it all for you. And this is where we're saying about agents that are utilizing AI, regardless of what you ethically think about it, will move forwards. And agents that go, I don't know, it's too hard, I don't know, it's too hard. It will come a point where if you're not keeping up with the trends, you will get left behind. Okay, here we go. It's created that one now. Let's see what this one looks like. Let's see. This is the latest one. Let's see what this is. Let's see if this is any good. Okay, so you can see that looked a little bit crappy because the helicopter disappears into too small. So then all I'd have to do is I'd have to go back here and go, right down the bottom of it, and I'll just go make the helicopter drop off the agent and then fly away. Right, and then create again. And then it's going to edit it again, and we might be waiting another 10 minutes to see what that is. But you get the idea, guys. Play around, have a play. Chatbot, ChatGPT, Seedance 2.0 for video. And Clinton, what were the apps that you were using? You're using ChatGPT, you're using Claude, and was it, I wrote down here, Codex. You're on mute, sorry, mate.
So Codex is the coding platform for ChatGPT.
Okay.
And Claude Code is the coding platform for Claude.
And is it just CODEX? Codex?
CODEX, yeah.
Yep, and then just Claude Code, CLAUDE.
Yeah, so if you go into chat, say you want to create your own platform or go into Codex, it'll ask you'll need to download it. So it's on your computer.
Okay. So there you go, guys. Start with ChatGPT, start with Claude, And then you can explore a whole range of other things from there. So hopefully that helps you guys. And thanks very much, Rahil. Rahil's working on something that's better than this Seedance. And he's going to put something together, and then he'll appear on one of our trainings and he'll do a much better job than what I've just done. He'll probably do more of a level of Clinton, what Clinton's just performed. I was just showing you what I learned in 15 minutes on the phone with Rahil got me to a point to be able to put together a video to be able to put together on Facebook.
So on the 30th of July, if Rahil wants to do that.
30th of July?
Yep.
All right, we'll reach out to Rahil then. But like I said, we keep training together. We keep learning together.
Another thing, these models there is such a fast race with each other that what we're saying today could be even better, different tomorrow.
Yeah.
I know Greg's taken on.
There's so many different AI platforms out there, and they're all trying to race to each other. There's basically a handful of billionaires that are racing to become the master AI of all this, and they're all competing. You know, there's Nano Banana. There's so many different things, but I think, like I said, we can also overcomplicate things in our business too much as well. So I think as long as you're keeping up to date with the trends that are going on in the marketplace at the current point in time, you're on par with your fellow agents that you're competing against. As long as you're on par with the fellow agents you're competing against, you're going to actually be able to compete against them and win business. So, like I said, the basics always still work. Talking to people, listing, selling, having conversations, 5 Ws. This is all add-ons to that from a marketing perspective and point of view to be able to just help us appear to be maybe a little bit more advanced than what we actually are. So here we go. Let's see if this one's done now.
Can I add in also what you might find with Claude? Claude is good for, more emotional sounding stuff and more the softer stuff, but your hard research and your legals and stuff, you might find ChatGPT's better and your research.
Yeah.
So horses for courses.
The thing is, guys, if you're sitting around at home, you don't have listings, you don't have sales, you don't have anything to do, maybe put your time into learning some of this stuff, because I think this is the stuff that's going to be beneficial. All right. Cool. Well, I'm not quite happy with anything that's spat out yet, but it's getting there. See, now it's given me a helicopter and it's flown away, but then now I've got a house with a garage on either side, which looks nothing like anything we sell here. So, like I say, just keep playing around. Anything anyone want to chat about or talk about before we stop the recording?
Yeah, we just need people to speak in the next couple of weeks. So can you chase up with Rahil to do that, please?
I will.
We've got Paul from Domain next week.
Cool. All right, we'll have a fantastic week ahead and keep learning, keep growing, keep helping people, and let's keep working together and training together so that we can all become better agents for our clients. Take care.